You know, most of us outdoorsmen have some type of trailer, and having an enclosed trailer like this is really nice just about any time, but especially in the winter time. And I don't know about you guys, I've always wanted to be able to hook into my stuff so I don't have to take my things out to charge, or maybe I'm running a heater and I don't want to have to keep the door open. You're at a hotel, something like that, just security standpoint, or let critters get in, you know, no, well, mice and stuff and like that. Only way I found to do that, and we're going to show you a couple quick steps here to install, is to get a waterproof plug, and we're going to put a junction box in. So a handful of steps we're going to show you how to do that and keep your trailer locked up tight, but still have the ability to get power in and out. You know, the first step we have to do is select a good, you know, kind of switch panel here. I've seen a lot of those online. They got the little rubber caps, and we all know that those aren't going to last over time. So I found one spring loaded here. It's made by Leviton. Nice little deal. It's also got a nice little thing here. We're going to put that on there, help kind of sandwich that, and we'll silicone it when we're all done. You don't have to be an electrician to do this. You know, I added these wires. I made them a little bit long. I marked everything to keep it super simple down the road because, again, I'm not an electrician. But the brass is the hot, which is technically going to be the black. I took a red wire and I just put white electrical over because that's the neutral or the silver. And all of this is listed on the instructions for all of these too. And then we've got the green, which again, I just put a little tape on there to make that green, but that's going to be our ground. So make yourself a little extension. These just go right in the back and you tighten them up. And then ultimately we're going to put this through and hook into the junction box. So once you select a location, you know, look in the back and make sure that there's no screws in the trailer, because that's probably going to mean that there's a rib in there, and you don't want to drill into that because that's not going to end well. You don't want to take any structural out of this. So definitely check that out. The other thing I'm going to do here is, because this metal is fairly thin and I don't know what I'm getting myself into here, I'm going to put a little bit of duct tape over it. And that way I'm going to actually drill into that. It's going to keep the drill from jumping around a little bit and make sure we don't scratch it up on the outside. So now we're just going to use a hole saw to drill in that after we've kind of covered this up. So we're going to make hopefully a little bit less mess. So we've got the little kind of big hole, you know, in there, and this is where it's really important to leave those wires a little bit long. There's kind of a point of diminishing returns where we're going to have to hide them, but it's going to make it a lot easier on the next step of hooking the plugs up. But what we're going to do right now is we're just going to put this in here right now, exactly where we want it, line that up, and then we're just going to kind of mark these. Just drill just a little bit. Don't go all the way through everything. But we're going to have our holes for the next step. So we secure these just with some stainless screws. Make sure you use some stainless, not some zinc. But when you go to the hardware store, make sure you get several links, because you don't want those sticking too far in. And in some cases, you want to take a little extra time here. You know, it might not even be bad to through bolt this. It would make it probably a lot better long term. But you're going to need a bigger junction box, which is kind of part of our next step. So I end up going with, and there's several different options, but I went with they call it a 4 square, and that way you could through bolt this here and you wouldn't have as much hitting, and you don't have to cut anything out, because you're never going to see any of this, as you'll see in the next step. So I saved you a little bit of camera time here. We've got a faceplate that's going to fit our box. You know, just go to the hardware store and get one of those. And then I've got a commercial, like a 20 amp plug. You could even get one. I kind of wish I would have got one with a USB or something on it, but basically hook this up. You're probably going to have to break the couple little tabs off to get it to fit in there, but it's pretty self-explanatory. There's a couple screw holes, secure that in, and then you're going to find out why we left those wires a little long. So now we're just going to take a couple screws and we're going to secure that box. And this is where it's key to leave those wires a little long, and I probably want a hair too long. But we can bend these up in here, but it's a lot easier to try to connect that switch instead of having them really nice and short. As you can see, we got to be able to hook these things up. So we're going to hook them, just everything's color coordinated. We've got our silver, we got our brass, we're good to go. So just remember on here, the silver is the white, green is the ground, and your black is going to be the brass or the hot. So we've got all 3 of these secured. You can see why, again, I went a little bit long, but it made it so much easier because now I've done these on a couple of my trailers. So we're just going to kind of jam these wires in there a little bit. And I'm going to put this faceplate on, and we're done, pretty much good to go. Now we're just securing the faceplate. Simple as a couple of screws. We've got that box secured in here. Now we're going to hook it up and show you exactly why I want this. So we've got her done. Here's the ultimate test. Boom! Let there be light. you can see there's a lot of reasons you'd want this, whether you're plugging an electric heater, working in the trailer, lights, plugging in your electronics and charging them overnight, maybe at your hotel. But keeping the trailer secure, keeping rodents and things out, having no cords dragging through the doors is super nice. Just make sure you get a quality plug because that could be a big problem. That's it.